Welcome back to The Dip. I'm Stephen Peace. Today's podcast is a bit different to the one I had planned. I had booked my cinema ticket and I was going to review The Long Walk. However, with events taking place in London over the weekend and just going to work on Sunday night and seeing all my work colleagues arrive at work Monday morning, completely gobsmacked and at a loss for words for what's happened in London over the weekend, and the involvement of Elon Musk in that particular meeting. So what I'd like to do is play the whole video of Elon Musk and Tommy Robinson interviewing each other, and I'm going to do a reaction video. However, I'm going to save my words until after so I get the full picture. I did release on my Facebook a 4-minute clip of what now appears to be an 18-minute video, and I'll tell you the reason why I'm doing this is because of Jeremy Vine. Now, I listened to the Jeremy Vine show today with great interest because I wanted to hear the public's reaction. However, the two women who were discussing the events in London over the weekend ended up talking over each other and really trying to hammer each other's point of views down to the point where Jeremy Vine stopped the segment. And I'm a bit disappointed in the British public's automatic reaction to it, which is, I'm right, you're wrong. There was no real debate. What annoyed me is both women, when they had their points of view, they were missing the point that no one would be arguing over the Union Jack and the St. George's Cross being hijacked if the government had stopped the boats in the first place. So Keir Starmer starting the news at about 7 o'clock this morning saying that the flag had been hijacked by far-right activists, as we saw in London, was a complete spin on the fact that there was massive numbers of people there, way more than that was being reported. And it also created a rift when it came to people trying to get their points of view across, like what happened with the Jeremy Vine show. These ladies would not be arguing over the Union Jack or the St. George's Cross if Keir Starmer had been doing his job properly, and instead of smashing the gangs, which he can't seem to find, he should have stopped the boats. So let's have a listen to the Tommy Robinson, Elon Musk rally. Now, this clip is from Rebel News, which I've learned over the weekend is being controlled as a free press agent by Tommy Robinson, and it broadcasts on X, which is a platform controlled by Elon Musk. That bit I did know. So let's get this bit over and done with, and then we'll come back to my immediate thoughts.
Congratulations, Tommy, on putting together an amazing event and really rallying the people of Britain.
Elon, none of this could have happened without you giving the British public access to the truth and giving us free speech and fighting for our free speech. So on behalf of Great Britain and the British public, we're incredibly grateful, Elon.
You're most welcome. You're most welcome. And you may notice this T-shirt that I'm wearing is great British author George Orwell. What would Orwell think? I think that's generally a good way to look at these things. He would want freedom of speech. He would want the people to know what's real. He want the people to fight against government oppression, and fight for the truth and fight for the future of Britain.
Yeah.
Elon, we are incredibly grateful for your time. We know what a busy man you are. Why is it important for you to be here today speaking at this Unite the Kingdom event?
Well, I'm of primarily British heritage, British ancestry. I want Britain to be greater than it ever has been. I want Britain to remain Britain. I think there's something beautiful about being British. And what I see happening is a destruction of Britain. Initially a slow erosion, but a rapidly increasing erosion of Britain with massive uncontrolled migration, a failure by the government to protect innocent people, including children who are getting gang raped. It's unreal. The government has failed in its duty to protect its citizens, which is a fundamental duty of government. This has got to stop. There needs to be massive government reform in Britain. And the people need to be in charge, not some bureaucracy that doesn't care.
Elon, I believe that's what we've started today. Power by the people, sending a message worldwide. Elon, you spent an incredible lot of money on X. Why is free speech so important to you?
Well, I believe you can't get to the truth of things without freedom of speech, without active debate. There's so many on the left that want to just crush debate and put people in prison just for talking, as you were, just for speaking their mind. The essence of democracy is it should be a government for the people, by the people, In fact, this is a government against the people and not for the people. This is why everyone is gathered here today, is something's got to be done. This is unacceptable. The government needs to be responsible to the people of Britain. It needs to protect Britain. It needs to protect the weak, those who cannot protect themselves, especially the children. And when I read about some of the horrific stories and how the government did nothing and tried to hide it, they try to hide these horrific crimes. And then you see how much violence there's on the left, with our friend Charlie Kirk getting murdered in cold blood this week, and people on the left celebrating it openly. The left is the party of murder and celebrating murder. I mean, let that sink in for a minute. That's who we're dealing with here. That is who we're dealing with.
Elon, to so many of the British public who are scared to exercise their free speech, they're worried about being imprisoned, they're worried about being attacked, even to share their speech on your platform of X. What message would you give to them?
And the message is really, my message is to the reasonable centre. The common sense. So my appeal is to British common sense, which is to look carefully around you and say, if this continues, what world will you be living in? This is a message to the reasonable centre, the people who ordinarily wouldn't get involved in politics, who just want to live their lives. They don't want. They're quiet. They just go about their business. My message is to them: if this continues, that violence is going to come to you. You will have no choice. You're in a fundamental situation here where whether you choose violence or not, violence is coming to you. You either fight back or you die. You either fight back or you die. And that's the truth.
Today, Elon, I think the British public are telling the world that they're ready to fight back.
Good. Yes.
Come on, Great Britain.
Oh!
Come on. We've inspired the nation. Elon, you've spoken a lot about woke culture, the woke mind virus, and how it damages innovation and freedom of thought. We know that DEI often sees people getting jobs when they definitely don't deserve them. Do you think this culture is holding back progress in the West? And what do you think needs to happen to reverse it?
Yeah, I'm appealing to sort of common sense and fairness. I want to emphasize just common sense and fairness, which is that we should make our decisions based on merit, on how, if somebody is talented and hardworking, then that should be the only means of advancement. There should not be discrimination on the basis of sex or religion or any race or anything else. And what a lot of the woke stuff is, it's actually super racist, it's super sexist, and it's it's anti-religion, but only anti-Christian. Like, why only anti-Christian? That's unfair. So this is why, again, my message is to the reasonable middle. Do you not want a world where there is fairness and common sense, and you advance as a function of how hard you work, and your talent, and your integrity? That should be all that matters. And the woke mind virus, that I call it, is against all of that. It's wrong.
Thank you, Elon, we hear so much about censorship being pushed by governments and global corporations and organisations. A lot of people don't understand why we're allowing mass, uncontrolled immigration into all Western nations. Do you believe that there are powerful forces outside of elected officials, someone controlling governments, that are trying to control the flow of information, and how do we resist that pressure?
I think when you look at the behavior of organizations or people, you have to say, what is the incentive for these organizations? And frankly, there's a massive incentive on the left to import voters. So if they can't convince their nation to vote for them, they're going to import people from other nations to vote for them. This is a massive factor. And frankly, it's a strategy that will succeed if it is not stopped. Thus far, it is succeeding. And you see strong movements to allow people who are not from Britain to vote in Britain, to allow people who are not from France or elsewhere to vote in those countries, and thus depriving the citizens of their democratic power. It's really a voter importation thing, and if they're allowed to succeed, if this is allowed to continue, they will succeed in importing voters, swaying the elections, and taking your vote away from you. That is 100% what is happening.